Hey everyone, Chad here. I've reflected on our 130 plus episodes and want to highlight this favorite. I'd love to hear what you take away from this one. When you have a dream, you have to start living like it's already happened, like you're already there. Stop waiting and start acting as the person that you want to become. Chad Peterman here, and you are listening to Can't Stop the Growth, a platform for leaders and teams to grow and thrive. We highlight the importance of personal development, pursuing greatness, and always chasing your potential. Let's get into it. What we're talking about this morning is one of the things I enjoy the most, and that is dreams. It's a very obviously high, pie in the sky, up in the clouds, all of that. Most kids probably get in trouble for daydreaming at school. But what I will tell you is that a lot of the things that we find in our lives where people have achieved extraordinary success all started with a dream. There was a time when you can think back to some of the biggest brands out there. There's the documentary on McDonald's, how it started out, and he was laying out the restaurant in a parking lot. All of these things started as really nothing, and what ultimately resulted is something that is frankly quite remarkable. And so we're going to talk a little bit about dreams today, what we need to do to start, some of the obstacles that we're going to face as we try to live out these dreams, and how we spread that ultimately to others. Christopher Reeves has a quote, "So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable." For me, when I first learned about the power of dreaming, I haven't always been a dreamer. I was never the kid in class daydreaming, if you will. I was always trying to pay attention because, frankly, I wasn't that smart and I was going to have to try really hard because I wanted to get good grades. My junior year, we had won the state championship in football my sophomore year. It was a very senior-laden class. I think we may have returned 3 starters to the team. So before the season, one of those starters unfortunately had a stroke. Wild. He was an unbelievable football player. And so we lost him before the season even started. It's kind of funny now, our kids go to the same daycare. His son and my daughter are in the same class. So I get to see him every now and then, which is great. Just an extraordinary story and what he's had to overcome. But we lose him before the season starts. In the second game of the season, the other starter tore his ACL. So by the halftime of the second game of the season, we're down to one returning starter on the entire team. Everybody else is brand new. And we started out the season 0-3, lost our first 3 games. The first game, we did not score a point. The second game, we scored, I think, a touchdown. And then the third game, we didn't score a point. And so we're sitting there at 0-3, and the only thing that I can think is looking back in the summertime, we'd had a little camp or something like that. We didn't play year-round like they do today, but we're all sitting there, and we all know, so this is at a point when we thought we had 2 starters coming back. Little we know we'd lose another one very quickly into the season. And we're all sitting there in the bleachers. It's probably 9, 10 o'clock at night. We were doing some team bonding activities, and one of the coaches, a guy by the name of Trevor Wilson, all the coaches were kind of doing their little talk and all this stuff like that, and he stands up in front of all of us and basically kind of like called us out. And so we're all sitting there and we're like, we're just trying to figure this whole thing out. And he's like, "You guys don't understand." I'm like, "What don't we understand?" I mean, yeah, I am kind of stupid, but just a little high school kid. He's like, "You guys don't understand." We're like, "All right, well, tell us what we don't understand." And he's like, "You have a chance to win the state championship this year." We're like, "Okay. Everybody gets a shot in the tournament, so yeah, I guess so." And he's like, "No, you guys don't understand." He goes, "If you can believe it, it will happen." And so I just remember turning to each other like, "Is this guy serious? does he really think that we can do this? And he obviously did. And so we get into the season and we're still thinking about that. And like I said, we lose our first 3 games and we're like, he may have called a shot a little too soon. This isn't shaping up so well. And so we continue along. We played some, I'll put it like this, we weren't getting like really good, but we were playing some lesser competition. Their games 4, 5, and 6, but started to get some momentum. And there was this weird thing, and we still talk about it today. And we were great friends with the class ahead of us, still good friends with those guys. And we formed this like bond of like, when we lost our first 3 games and even our own fan base, because we had lost so many people, like, this could be a good season. Like, we were all dreaming at the time of like, okay, maybe this could happen. But it took Coach Wilson to literally tell us that it was possible. And then we started believing in it. And so I tell this story because to me, this is where dreaming for me became like, okay, so if you just say it and then work towards it, you can make literally anything happen. We went through the season, entered the playoffs. In the sectional championship, we were playing Zionsville. And to take you back, our senior class had played Zionsville when they were freshmen. So you're talking about the same group of kids playing, and Zionsville had beat them like 49-0. Like, this was Zionsville's best team. And, that was the game that, like, it was an eerie feeling when you believe so deeply in yourself that you're almost like the outside world doesn't exist. We went into that game and we should have been scared out of our minds, like, oh my God, we're going to get beat. This is the end. And I just remember playing in that game and being like, this is so much fun. This is just great. We're just having a great old time. And that's how we rolled through the entire season. Was we had this belief in ourselves that we could do it, almost to like a dumb feeling. Nothing else mattered. There was no not accomplishing the goal. We're just going to do this because we said we can, and we worked really hard, and we're going to continue to work hard, and we'll get this done. And so beat Zionsville, went on to win the state championship that year in back-to-back seasons. Just a really cool accomplishment, mainly because of how it revolved around a dream. And I think that one of the things that I would take from that, even in the losses at the beginning of the season and things of that nature, is that when you have a dream, you have to start living like it's already happened, like you're already there. Stop waiting and start acting as the person that you want to become. So if you're a technician right now and your goal is to become a manager one day, what's stopping you from acting like a manager today? What's stopping you from acting like the person that you believe that you're dreaming of that you can become? What's stopping you? Nothing. Really, it's just a want to with where it is that you want to go. When I have looked, as I've kind of came up through this, like, I would probably guess that, like, if there's a podcast with someone that I think is a mentor, I've probably listened to it at least 20 times. I've caught myself before. I'm like, why do I keep listening to this? This is a lot of the same information. A lot of this stuff, there was ideas that was a couple years ago, like, we've already implemented those. Like, I don't need to hear this again. But at the end of the day, it is literally just making sure that I surround myself, kind of insulate my thought process with those people that I want to be like. I don't want to be just like them, but I want to accomplish what they have accomplished. And to me, a lot of people are like, oh, you read a lot of books and listen to podcasts and all this stuff. And I do it mainly at this point in time, not for new ideas, but just to essentially put myself in the state of mind where I can dream big. Whole time down here this morning, I was listening to a podcast, about halfway, and then I turn on some music. But the whole time, knowing I was going to talk about this, I'm like dreaming about the biggest of the big things. I probably annoy people because I send text messages at 4 in the morning. But I got an idea, so I want to share it. I text Deb on the way down here. She's probably sleeping. It said that her notifications were silenced, so she'll probably see it when she wakes up, which is great. But I had an idea, so I figured I'd text it to her. But I think that that's extremely important. If there's one thing that this world has in abundance, it is dream killers, right? It's all the people that you know in your life that will tell you that it can't be done, or don't dream too big, or temper your expectations, or whatever it is. I can tell you, like, my kids will grow up thinking that they will be president of the world. If you dream it, we'll figure out a way to go do it. Now, there's pieces of that. It's not just like say it or write it down and then hope that it happens. There's a level of work and work ethic that you need to ultimately accomplish something like that. But the starting point is being able to say it, being able to articulate what that looks like. A lot of this company's dream is baked into our vivid vision, right? It's, hey, we're going to dream it. This is what it's going to look like in 3 years. And so to me, that is so much fun, right? I don't know if people get scared of dreaming big, like, hey, if I say this, I may not get there, or I may not achieve this, or I don't want to have faulty expectations, or whatever it is. But like, who cares? Your dream is your dream. Guess what? Like I always tell people, if you got a dream, tell people, right? Because that is like the best way. One, tell people because you're going to need others probably to achieve something big. So tell others because there's probably people that want to help. But also tell others because there's some accountability there. But like, guess what's never happened in my life? If there was something that I didn't achieve, there was never anybody that I told the dream to that came back and said, look at you didn't get your dream. Gotcha. No, they forget. It's literally just like they're running their own life. So many people get wrapped up in like, well, I don't want to say that. That could be crazy. Who cares? We wrote the first Vivid Vision in 2016. People still seem to come back. So, hey, it's working pretty well. Don't be scared. There's no real reason to be scared. And you only get one shot. And so what are you doing? What do you want to become? Start acting like it. Start telling people. My big dream right now, like I said, it's been a couple months ago, is to win the Indy 500. I'm making inroads. All right. So we're working on some things. I don't know a thing about racing, but it just seemed like a cool thing to do, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure of a timeline, but we're figuring it out. And once I told people, well then, oh look, all these people start to come to you like, hey, I'd like to be a part of that. Or hey, tell me more about what you're doing there. Or what's that going to look like? And I'm like, well, here you go. And so what did I do? I wrote a vivid vision for winning the Indy 500 and what that looks like. Well, that is attracting people. Literally, I started with ours and I literally copied and pasted most of it and then just filled in, drive a car, don't install a furnace. This is not rocket science here. I didn't want to start from scratch, so I figured, hell, I got this 15-page document. We'll just start there. So again, share that with you, not to brag or anything like that, but I just said that that'd be fun to do. So I'm going to go do it. And you can do the exact same thing. If you want to go do something that is big, or in some cases, if you've never thought about doing anything big, if you're just like a day-to-day person, stop and think about something big. What's that look like? What could happen? Anything can happen. Literally, anything. This company is a testament to that. We didn't fall from the earth and like were appointed HVAC and plumbing gurus. I didn't know jack about this industry. Literally, it took me a good 6 months to realize that a heat pump and an air conditioner were different things. Like, I didn't know anything. But you find great people, you talk to people, you have a dream, and all of a sudden things start to come to you. Like most people that You're like, oh yeah, I've never done anything big, never done anything. It's like, well, with that attitude, you're probably right, one. But two, you're never going to attract anything good in your life if you're always talking negative to yourself and being, about how you can't do something. Like, I will tell you that anything that I've ever done successful in my life, it's taken other people. And most of the time, it was that dream that connected me with those people. There's people in this industry that I literally waited. I was so scared to talk to. I'm not normally a talker. But there were like guys that I like wanted to talk to. And like over time, because I had this dream, I came in contact with them. Now I like text with them all the time. Well, that's like cool. But if I never felt like I needed to get there, then I probably wouldn't have that relationship that I have today. And a lot of these guys along the path, it's always good to reach out and say, hey, how did you do this? Or, hey, can we send some people out to your shop so that we can learn something? And what I have found is that saying it is the first step. Like, hey, I'm going to be really good friends with that person right there because I need to be. It's always worked out. Aaron, one of my best friends in the industry, I went to his shop, I don't even know when that was, 2020-ish. And I was like, I need to be friends with this guy. He knows a lot of stuff, and I'd like to know a lot of stuff too. Man, he seems to have figured this plumbing thing out, and I haven't. So we're going to be friends. And so me being the introvert, it was kind of a very, very soft reach outs, hey, little information request. And now we talk literally every week. Perfect. That worked. But if I wouldn't have had that notion to like, hey, we're going to do this, then it would have never happened. My wife, very similar. The first time I ever saw her, I knew I liked her. I don't know why, never talked to her before, but I knew I liked her. But stuff like that. I mean, just what would your life look like if you started going around and just saying, I'm going to do that? That's going to happen. And then you took time to sit down and go, okay, if I'm going to do that, what do I need to do today? Do I need to read a book? Do I need to listen to a podcast? Do I need to talk to somebody? It amazes me that I always tell people, especially in the company, that I'm like an open book. If you want something, like I probably know somebody that can get it, but very few people ask me for things. I'm telling you, if you've got something that you want to do, I want to help. That's what I love to do, is to help people achieve what it is that they want to achieve. I always joke that I remember when Kenny Collier came to me, so he's been with us a little bit shorter than me, but he came to me shortly after starting to work, and he's like, I really want to be a trainer one day. I said, man, just give me some time. Right now I need you to go put in that system. But give me some time, and then I think you can get there. And now he's training, just doing great things. And the really cool part about it, as it relates to Kenny and then a lot of the rest of our team, is our probably, and I don't want to offend any installers that we have today, but I would bet that the best probably 8 installers that we have at this company don't touch a piece of equipment today. To me, that is literally the coolest thing ever. Because in a lot of places, install is a lifelong journey. If the company's not growing, you're going to be a lead installer. That's just what it's going to be. And to see all of those guys excelling and just doing amazing things is just so cool. I'm just so grateful for all of them and their belief in the dream that we had to stay with us and be like, okay, yeah, I think we can get there. I think this is going to happen. And Kenny telling me what his dream was really inspired me. Like, I got to get to work here because Kenny wants to be a trainer, and well, we don't have any room for a trainer right now. We are slim pickings here. But as we've grown, to see people get to take on opportunities like that, to me, is just really special. The other thing about a dream is you've got to be willing to be a little bit scared of it, right? Like winning the Indy 500, that's scary, right? Like, dude, you can barely turn on your own car. But if it wouldn't have been, if it was just like, because I thought about this, I was like, well, maybe it's just like be in the Indy 500 or I don't know, sponsor a car or something like that. And yeah, some people asked me when the first time I said it, they were like, are you driving the car? No, I'm not driving the car. That would be terrible. But as I was thinking about it, that I literally went through this thought process, like, well, maybe I should just write down that I'm going to be in it. Like that, you can enter a car, that'd be great, and say, woo, we were in it. And oftentimes you'll go through this process, right? Because the first thing that you say is like, when you talk about a dream is you got to like almost believe that it actually is believable, right? You're not going to say something that's totally off the wall. You're going to say something that you think, yeah, I know I'm going to have to work at it or figure a few things out, but yeah, I think I can do that. And what I will tell you with dreams, if you really want to make them resonate, is you need to go that extra level. Go that extra step up. What is it that will take you to that next level and scare the shit out of you? My goal of doing that scares the shit out of me, because if you watched this year's race, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like, you got to get real freaking lucky, along with putting a really good team together. You got to get real freaking lucky to win the damn thing. I watched the race, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, God dang it. It would have just been so much better if the best car just ran out front and won the race and everybody said bye. And some of the races are like that, right? Some of them are boring as hell because the leader never relinquishes the lead because he can go faster than everybody else out in clean air. But the Indy 500 is not like that. And you've got 4 pit stops that you've got to be perfect on. You've got strategy. The race is so long. All of these factors, like, yeah, scare the shit out of me, because I really want to do this, because to me, this is one that I think I can finally get people to believe in dreaming if I can pull this off. And that's the real reason I want to do it, because many people have told me my entire life, you can't do that. That's too big. You're not going to be able to do that, whatever it is. And I think if I can actually pull this off, and there's a very strategic reason why I'm talking about it now, is because this is all documented, right? So the accountability is super high. Like, you know, I told you that no one's going to come back and point their finger at you if you didn't achieve your goal. But if I just keep talking about this and never do it, like, you guys are all going to look at me like a fraud, right? Like, what's this guy doing? He comes up here and talks and thinks he's got real smart stuff to say, this, that, and the other, and he didn't even go and do that. That is the whole plan behind this, is literally on record. We're putting it out there. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it not to win the race. That's going to be cool, but I want to do it because I truthfully think that it can make a huge impact on the way that people think. There's no reason that I should say that as far as a goal. Like, I just kind of came up with it out of thin air and thought it'd be fun to do. But if we can pull it off, what would that mean to other people? Would they start dreaming bigger? That's dreaming just what I think is almost as big as you can go. And that's what I wanted to do, is find something like that to, again, illustrate how powerful a dream can be. And so, knowing that, my goal would be is for you to take the same approach, is for you to figure out what it is that you want to do in life. And I'm not talking about like buying a new car or moving into a new house, like something big, like real freaking big that you want to do. That seems, I don't even know how I can do that, because what I will tell you is if you do that, literally take the one simple step to do that and think about it every single day. I think about that race every single day at some point during the day. How we're going to do this. All right, we need to do this. We need to do that, whatever it is. Get something big and then think about it. And what you will find is that you will start to attract the things in your life that will help you do it. You're just going to have to trust me. But I will tell you, that is what has happened in my life when I dream big. And it's probably going to take a lot of hard work, no doubt. Don't think it's just going to, look at that. You know, you're going to wake up one morning, it's going to happen. It's not. It's going to be a process. It's going to be hard. And it's going to be difficult. But that's why you dreamed as big as you did because you knew it was going to be difficult. And the good thing is, think about it. No one else is doing it, right? No one else is doing it. That's the other thing I like about racing too. There's only like 12 teams. We can figure this thing out. It can't be that difficult. There's like 3 teams that actually are like full-time doing their thing, whatever it is. So it's like, okay, how do we find a strategy that's maybe a little bit off of theirs? And then we're just going to slide on in here when no one's looking, and we're going to win. That's what we're going to do. This is the fun in life, is we get to dream. We get to, in this country, think as big as humanly possible and then try to go get it. What I do every day is not work to me. It's literally living a dream because I dreamed it one day and now I get to live it and then chase the next one and figure that out. Like, that is fun. Yeah, are there stressful times? 100%. Are there problems we have to solve? Absolutely. But if you're open to always learning and always growing and always chasing after that dream, guess what? Every day is exciting. I freaking love coming into the office. Love it. Love punching my little code in, walking in the door. But again, think big. And think bigger than you're big, because that's where you got to go. It's got to be super uncomfortable. You have got to want to be scared out of your mind to even say it. And guess what? If you don't reach it, still probably going to get pretty far. Hell of a lot further than you would have setting a smaller goal, dreaming a smaller dream. So dream big. Again, no one's coming to find you to hold you accountable. Hold yourself accountable. You don't need other people. You may need other people to help you, but you don't need other people to hold you accountable. You can hold yourself accountable. And the accountability comes easier and easier the more you talk about it, the more you think about it, because you start attracting all of these things into your life. The law of attraction is real. I am telling you, 100%, if you say it and think about it and are about it, things will come into your life. And as long as you're open to learning from them, they will be what you need.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to get connected, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. As always, keep growing out there.